And thank you again. Okay, boom, perfect. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an incredible guest with us, one who I'm very humbled, who's going to give us some information as well as some inspiration, and that is none other than Brother Dennis Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Josh. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And for those who don't know, this man is, has a great life story we're about to hear from, but he's somebody who literally watched me and my sister Miriam, Naeem, and Rashad grow up. And it's an honor to have him be on my platform. This means so much to me. Yes, sir. Well, the first question I want to know is how did you become the Dean of Boards of MUI? How did that come about?
Well, let's go back a little further when I first came into the nation.
Okay, yes, sir.
I started coming out, brother, in '83. I actually heard the minister at the Savior's Day in '84, but I was coming out in '83. I had some brothers that I ran the streets with that joined the nation, and I would see them out selling the Final Call newspaper, and I was still had both feet in the world, brother, when I was running to them. And they kept asking me to come by the Final Call, so I could hear the teachings. And I would always put them off, right? Give them a reason why, if you needed an excuse, you came up with one. Yes, I just didn't really want to go. I knew what I was into, and I knew that I had ran with these brothers, for many years, but I saw a change in them. So to make a long story short, I did go by one Wednesday evening to the Final Call and heard a lecture, and the lecture was given by brothers my age at the time. I didn't hear the minister for about 4 months after that. I used to just go out on Wednesday evenings. And at that time, Brother Colin was the Supreme Captain. And, long story short, I fell in love with the teachings. And I did come that one Sunday and heard the minister for the first time, and the rest is history, brother. I've been with him ever since. Yes, sir.
Well, yes, sir. Well, I want to go back to one of your, to Dr. Khalid, but I want to go back to you when we were younger. We was talking about the paddle or the strap, and when I was younger at MUI, many times apparently I must have been bad to you all because I used to get hit, and I would see the 3 letters of the Omega Psi Phi on the paddle that you would use. What made you choose to pledge Omega, Brother Dennis?
Well, when I went away to college, I was 17 years old, when I graduated from high school. And I went to Southern Illinois University on a track scholarship. I was running track.
Okay.
And I ran into some brothers on the track team that were Qs. And, you gravitate to likeness, brother. These were brothers like brothers I grew up with back in Chicago. So I started hanging out with these brothers after track practice and, going around campus. And they had what they call a smoker, where they would have, invite you to come in and talk about the frat to you and give you an overview of what Omega Psi Phi was.
Yes, sir.
And, along with some other brothers, that I was coming acquainted with on the campus, we decided that we were going to pledge Q, because the other fraternities just didn't seem like the brotherhood was the same to me as it was with the Omegas. These brothers down there, they were doing community service work. They were in the community, and not to say the other fraternities weren't, but these were brothers that I was around, and I could see what they were doing. And I said, well, yeah, I would like to be a part of this. A young brother, man, just out of your home, first time away from home. You want to be around people that you feel comfortable with. And I felt really comfortable with Omega.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Well, what in 1983, the Final Call building, what was it like to have Dr. Khalid as a Supreme Captain? What was that like being around him?
Well, I wasn't even processing then, so I wasn't really under Dr. Khalid. He was the Supreme Captain, but just to be around the brothers, it was almost, I won't say like pledging, but in a sense, the brotherhood was the same as what I found in Omega Psi Phi. You had from all walks of life. You had brothers from all walks of life, but there seemed to be a common goal and a common thread among the brothers, which was trying to do right. You know, because like I said, you know, when I came in, you know, I had both feet in the world like a lot of us, man.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
so that was a transition from coming from, you know, not really believing anything or seeing a purpose for your life to coming around brothers that, you know, had a common goal now, you know, which was striving to do better for their families, for themselves, you know, and really getting into the teachings. So yeah, that led me to the nation. And yeah, it took me a while, brother. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, when I accepted Islam, it took me a while before I really accepted that Master Farad Muhammad was God in person.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was
Yes,
a
sir.
hard pill, brother, because, you know, I was born, you know, and raised in the Presbyterian church, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
and to believe that, you know, God had appeared in person to a man, you know, that was hard, you know.
Yes, sir.
And you know, I shared this with a lot of brothers. It took me a while to really grasp that and understand it. But the more I got into the teachings, the more I was around the minister, the more it became clear to me that it was true and is true today. You know, and I thank Allah for putting me on that path.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, what advice would you give to other people who are dealing with point number 12 and dealing with the reality of Master Muhammad being a man in person? Like, how would you give them, what advice would you give to them to help deal with that?
Only advice I could give is, you know, what I kind of used for myself, what helped me along, brother, you know, was watching the minister, being around the minister, and really getting into the teachings, because the truth won't lie. The truth is the truth.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
know, and if you open your eyes and in our prayers, you ask Allah to guide you and open your heart so you can receive what it is He wants to give you, then He'll give you that understanding. You know,
Yes,
it'll
sir.
come clear to you. It might not be a week or a month, a year. For me, it was almost, you know, a couple of years, brother, you know,
Mm.
but when it came, nobody can take that from me now.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, that's something that once you grasp it and that understanding, you're there. You know, you're solid enough on the foundation that, you know, only thing you ask Allah now is not to allow you to deviate, brother.
Mm, mm,
Yes,
mm.
sir.
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful. And thank everyone who's watching. My sister Miriam sends the greetings. And please continue to like, share, and subscribe to the People's Podcast. Brother Dennis, how did you become the Dean of Boys at Muhammad University of Islam? How did that come about?
Well, it started right in 90 is when I became, 1990 is when I became the Dean of Boys. But
Mm,
prior to that, in 88, there was the overwhelming event. That's
mm.
when we had the tents up on the property for a whole week.
Yes, sir.
And over 12,000 people, brother, came through that
Mm,
event.
mm.
And under that tent, we had entertainers like Public Enemy, Queen Latifah, Noel Pointer, Lonnie
Mm.
Liston Smith, Roy Ayers. I mean, you know, we had an ensemble that any large venue, brother, would have died for.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
and the minister, that was his vision, you know, to have that on the property. And when we got the property back, during that time, the minister brought brothers in from Los Angeles to help with the preparing of the food and everything for the event for that whole week. And I was asked to take the brothers around to do the shopping, you know, pick up whatever was necessary for the meals. And during that time, Brother Wali came down from Los Angeles and they were doing the bean pie.
Mm.
Well, you know, everybody's got a bean pie, right? You know, everybody's got a bean pie.
Yes, sir.
So after the event was coming to an end, the minister wanted the pie in Chicago. He wanted us to have a national pie.
Yes, sir.
So prior to that, Brother Whitehead Brother Whitehead was doing the teeny beanie, you know, and I worked with Brother Whitehead and the brothers from Los Angeles, and they taught me how to do the bean pie. You
Mm.
know, I'm not a baker, but I can follow instructions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
that's all
sir.
I did was follow the instructions. So by me already being at the school and doing the pies, when the school opened up in 90, Sister Shelby asked me if I would consider being Dean of Boys.
Mm.
Well, at that time, Brother Frank, who's Brother Ali now, was the supreme captain.
Yes, sir.
He
Yes,
came
sir.
to me and told me, he said, well, brother, you know, I think that would be a perfect fit for you since you're already at the school. Why don't you go ahead and take that position?
Mm.
Well, you know, our military structure, brother, you hear and obey.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you get in where you fit in. So I went ahead and assumed that, role as Dean of Boys, and I did that for 5 years. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Okay, well let's how was it being under Brother Ali? What type of Supreme Captain was he?
Brother, all the Supreme Captains, brother, had a heavy responsibility. That's the responsibility of not only protecting the leader of the Nation of Islam, but also assuring that all the believers, were safe.
Yes, sir.
So, it's an awesome task, brother, and it's a lot of sacrifices that I've seen all the Supremes go through, with personal life and dealing with us as a people,
Yes, sir.
because we come in with our own ideas, brother. And some of us come in, we feel that we know more than, those in authority over us,
Yes,
and
sir.
we don't want to fall in a lot of times, brother.
Yes, sir.
And that's the biggest thing that, that I saw with your father, Brother Ali, was the way they dealt with men.
Mm.
You give respect, because you want respect, steel sharpens steel, men sharpen men.
Yes, sir.
There's a time that you have to be forceful, and there's a time that you have to understand that, we all go through different things in our life at different times. So sometimes a man might not, be consciously doing something that he shouldn't do, in regards to his responsibility of the nation, but you don't understand the underlying circumstances behind his reactions or why he's not doing it. And it takes a person that really listens, to deal with men and understand that, okay, he's got a problem. Let's see if we can help him through this and tighten up the brotherhood by doing that. And that's what I saw in your father, a lot of things he did and the way he moved and the way Brother Ali moved.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. And thank you for your great testimony. Thank everyone who's watching. Sister Bronda of Chicago, who was the science teacher at MUI, says she loved the mini pies when Brother Dennis was making them. Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Okay, my next question for you, sir, is how did your family and friends feel about you accepting the teachings?
Bruh. Oh, when I was married 2 years before I recited. Okay. So my wife didn't come into the ranks. I came in and it was rough, brother. To be honest with you, I lost a lot of so-called friends, those that I ran with and partied with, I stopped getting invited to those parties. The association kind of dwelled off, but on the other end, association picked up with the brothers that I was around now, and that bond, like I said about Omega and the similarity between that and the brotherhood is what really, gives you strength in your faith, man. When you can be around those of like mind and you all can have a conversation about something on a higher level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To, oh man, what we going to do tonight? Where we going to party? That sort of thing. You can take it to a different level. So yeah, I was, even my immediate family, my mother, when I first told her, she lived about 8 blocks from the final call. So after I would go to the final call, I would go over her house to eat on Sundays, bro.
Yes, sir.
And I dropped the tape on my mother once. And my mom, she was like, oh, you over there with them Muslims, My mother ate pork and everything now, so because I was raised on it. Yes. But when I dropped that tape on my mom, from that point on, every time I would go to her house for Sunday after the mosque meeting, at the final call, she asked me, you got my tape? She fell in love with the minister, bro. My mother stopped eating pork, bro. Yes, sir. So, it's like the minister had told me when I was going through some difficulties in my marriage, bro. He told me, he said, brother, it's going to be through your example that your wife falls in love with Islam. You've got to be that example. And no truer words could have been spoken to me, brother. And my wife to the day, she loves the minister. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Well, speaking of the minister giving you advice, what was it like the first time you met him? What was it like?
The first time I met the minister, when I walked up in the final call to do acceptance, and I got to shake his hand and look, I was nervous, but I was, I didn't know what to really say, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Here it is, you're listening to an individual, you're taking in everything that they're saying. It's going straight into you. But what can you really say to them, you know, to let them know that, hey, I really believe. Other thing I could say is, brother minister, I'm with you.
mm, 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 mm.
And from that point on, you know, I thank Allah, you know, that I've been steadfast on that, and I plan on staying on that path, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, what? How did you get into working with the protocol department and things like that? Like, how did that come about?
Yes, sir. Well, before there was a protocol department, before the minister created that department, myself and Brother Gregory, I don't know if you remember Brother Gregory Muhammad, or Gregory Sane was his slave name.
Mm,
But we used to do advance for the minister. You know, we would go out, and especially around the Chicago area with the preachers and the politicians, you know, we would go to the different events that they were sponsoring, even if the minister wasn't speaking there, you know, to represent the minister, you know, and that had been a beautiful thing about it, brother. You know, that every time you step out, you're not representing yourself, you know, and that's what we as believers have to understand. They don't see us as individuals. They see the minister and the nation when they see us.
yes, sir.
So
Yes,
if
sir.
we're not carrying ourselves the way that we're supposed to, then that reflects not badly on us directly, but it reflects on the nation as a
Yes, sir.
whole.
Yes, sir.
That's why it was so important to us, brother, that when we were around those, especially those that we knew really didn't care for the minister, that we put on our best behavior, brother, you know, so we showed them, you know, exactly what the minister was about. And a lot of them, after they met the minister or came around the minister, you know, I mean, some people, you know, we used to say fake the funk.
Yes, sir.
You know, when they're around the minister, they love the minister, but when they're not around the minister and they're around their people, it's a whole different thing. And
Yes,
we
sir.
used
Yes,
to
sir.
bust them out on that because we would go into their meetings and sit in the back and listen to how they talked.
Mm, mm.
So, I mean, you know, it's one of those things, brother, where the nation is bigger than us, man, as individuals. And that's what we got to understand. You know, Allah has blessed us, you know, to pick up the baton. You know, I equate it to, you know, when I say I ran track, like a relay.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
know, those believers before us that suffered, brother, in the 30s, that paved the way for us, they handed off that baton to the next generation, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know, and we looked back and got a glance. We saw the baton coming, so we stuck that hand back to get the stick. So now we moved it on out. And now you, in your generation, brother,
Yes, sir.
you
Yes, sir.
all sticking your hand out. We got to put that baton firmly in it so you can keep it going, brother,
Yes,
and
sir. Yes,
carry
sir.
it on. And you got to continue to do that for the generations to come. That's why if we do that, the nation will never fall, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful, beautiful. And so many people showing you love, Sister Rose, saying Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak. Some people saying, yes, sir, right away. Thank you, sir. We represent the minister.
All
And
praises due
praise
to
be
Allah,
to
bro.
Allah. Excellent. My next question for you, Brendan, is because you're an Omega man, FOY, came up on Chicago being strong, but has there ever been a time where you were faced with fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, there was times, brother, where, you know, when we would be out on the street, brother, you know, and everybody don't love the minister, you
Yes, sir.
know,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
you got some that will step to you out there, brother, you know, and yeah, fear will come up, but what you do is you call on the God, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, and trust me, you know, from my experience, brother, it works, man.
Yes, sir.
It
Praise be
works.
to-
You know, we've been in situations where, and you know, you know of it, brother. You know, I mean, there's times where you know you had to deal with brothers, man.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, you had to speak the language they understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. I mean, you know, we're not the aggressor, brother, but we're not gonna be punked either. Yes,
Allahu
sir.
Akbar. Beautiful. And I also want to say, Brother Dennis, for those who don't know, Brother Dennis was one of the first men who walked that I studied when I was at MUI. Because I mean, you came down with your left hand and you had the arm swing, and I said, "Oh, Brother Dennis is swing." Brother Dennis was a cool brother, yes, sir. So I hope that you maintain that. You are definitely a FOY that many people looked up to, but especially those of my generation. And we always admire you, Brother Dennis, and your family. So I want to thank you for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family as well.
I thank you, brother. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. What was it like leading up to the Million Man March, and how did the Million Man March personally impact you?
leading up to the Million Man March was a beautiful experience, brother. I reflected back on that during this COVID, brother. Being locked down, I've had time to really reflect over my life in the nation.
Mm.
And I thank Allah for all the experiences I've had, both positive and negative, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But going into the Million Man March, when the minister made that call and asked for 1 million men, and we came back and started getting on the work, to make it happen because the
Yes, sir.
minister put it out there, So I mean, as an FOI, you hear and you obey, and our thing coming up, I was trained by Brother Ronald in the processing class, Big Ron, in the
Yes, sir. Yes,
processing
sir.
class. So
Yes,
in the
sir.
processing class, there was a saying, no excuse, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you, whatever it was, if you didn't do it, there was no excuse for it.
Mm.
So, it made you own up into your responsibility. So going into the Million Man March, when we started going around the city, and I say city in particular Chicago, because that's where, the headquarters was, and talking to the different church groups and whatnot, trying to get them involved into the Million Man March, there was a lot of pushback, brother, because the minister had called it, and that envy and jealousy raised its head.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But what was so amazing was that the closer we got to October the 16th, the more the naysayers and those that didn't want to be a part of it started reaching out. That showed us then, brother, that Allah's hand was all on this. You can't deny God's man and be successful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And even on that day, a lot of those that were against it, they were fighting, brother, to get to the microphone. You know what I'm saying, Josh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But the minister being the man that he is, he didn't deny anybody, brother. Those that wanted to talk to the minister, let him speak. That's the love that he has for our people, man. And it's no way that you can really gauge the love that he has for our people, man, because the minister is taking so much from us as a people, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he keeps a smile on his face and he keeps on his deal. He's doing what Allah has charged him to do, man. And nobody's going to take him off of that.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. I want to thank you for that. Some people saying yes, sir. A lot of people saying love. All praise be to Allah. Thank you. And Brother Dennis, I have a few more questions for you. And thank
you. Go ahead, brother. I'm
yes,
happy to be here with you, brother.
Yes, sir. I have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of this month's People's Podcast. And we are happy to start this season off with Brother Dennis and his great testimony. And we look forward to hearing it because he, once again, my whole experience of MUI, when I first came to Chicago, it was Brother Dennis that introduced me to manhood and brotherhood at Miami University of Islam. If you all would like to be a sponsor or a donor, please cash app the People's Podcast. Thank you very much. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera, drone. He does television and film editing. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. Make sure you go out and get those. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. We love our tiny dancers. Also, our brothers out of Los Angeles, the MTS Car Bros, any make, any model, any year, 30 to 50% off. Make sure we go out and get some vehicles. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He will ship bow ties to you all across the country. Thank you very much, Brother Kenneth. Our brother Enoch out of Chicago, Hip Hop Detox. It empowers youth and young adults towards a healthy lifestyle and choices using the holistic approach to create a productive life. Thank you very much. Our Asiatic Minds online school. It is a new school starting this fall. Make sure everybody sign up. AsiaticMinds.com, AsiaticMinds.com. Thank you very much for that sponsorship. Our sister Latasha Muhammad out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Queen is I Poetry and Apparel. Queen is I Poetry and Apparel. We're coming right back to our guest, Brother Dennis Muhammad. Fresh and Clean LLC. Fresh and Clean Sanitizing.com. They'll sanitize your wherever you need out of Albany, Georgia. Elevated Places Incorporated, Adult Counseling, Youth Counseling, and Life Management, 229-344-1474. Thank you very much, Brother Aaron. Dr. Henry M. Carter right here in Atlanta, Georgia. King Henry Turkey Legs. Brother Rashad Muhammad of Chicago, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services, my father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, abdulsharif.com, and last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra and also No Father, No Excuse, both are which available on Amazon. Right back to Brother Dennis. Thank you very much, and thank you all for watching. Okay, Brother Dennis.
Yes, sir.
I also wanted to tell people that I don't even know if you remember this, that the first time I went swimming with the brothers, it was because you took us at the YMCA, and I didn't know how to swim, and they were throwing these big like blocks at the bottom of the pool of the street from MUI. And you say everybody who can swim go over here, and all like the cool kids went to go over there. So I went with them, and you was like, "All right, Josh, everybody's throwing the brick in the bottom of the pool." I jump in and I almost drown.
Yes, sir. We wasn't gonna let it happen, brother.
Yes, sir. And you was like, you gotta know how to swim. You told me. I was like, yes. So it's a life lesson I've always learned. Children, please tell the truth if you can swim and not see you going to drown. I later became a lifeguard and learned how to swim and all that good stuff. But at first, Brother Dennis was there when I first lied. So that was.
Yes, sir. I remember. Yes, sir.
My next question for you, Brother Dennis, is: what has been your greatest trial in your tenure in the nation, and how have you overcome that trial?
Brother, I don't know what would be a greatest trial, because trials are constant, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Trials are constant. Only thing I can say to that, Brother Josh, is that when I feel, a difficulty, I call on Allah, brother.
Yes, sir.
I ask for His guidance, and I ask Him to get me out of the way, brother. And I try to give control to Allah. I've learned, brother, over my years in the nation, not to be judgmental, brother, because none of us are perfect, brother. We're all striving for perfection. Allah is the only thing that is perfect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Understanding that, when I see things that I think might not be correct, I try not to be judgmental about it, because I don't know all the circumstances around it, brother. And I just ask Allah, oh Allah, please, just guide me, keep me on the straight path.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because it's so easy for us to get pulled off of it out here.
Yes, sir.
That's why, we constantly, brother, have to, whether we're on the prayer rug or we're walking down the street, be prayerful, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Sister Saber, some people saying yes, showing you love. Sister Saber Muhammad says she loves Brother Dennis. Is he still going to do the fish again? She wants to know, you're still going to do the fish again?
Inshallah, brother. I'm off in the gardening right now, brother.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm off in the gardening now. I'm trying to learn, city boys becoming a farmer, man. What can I say? Yes, sir. I'm learning the soil, I'm learning seeds, and, I'm getting a joy out of watching stuff grow, man. It's been a beautiful experience. Allah has put me on, I never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing now. But, that's why Allah knows best. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What has been your greatest joy in your tenure in the nation, Brother Dennis?
Every time I see a smile on the minister's face. Yes, sir. I mean, when he's happy, brother, that means that everything else is okay, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful. What advice would you give to future husbands?
The same advice that was given to me by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, brother. It's going to be through your example. She's not going to always be right, and you're not going to always be wrong. But there's got to be an understanding. You've got to communicate. You can't not talk to each other. You got to work it out. If your vows are what you say they were, till death do us part.
Yes, sir.
Then you got to work it out. And Allah, He'll intervene, brother, when necessary, to make sure that everything goes smooth. It's peaks and valleys, brother. You're dealing with people, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
you're going to have the peaks and valleys. There's going to be some good times. There's going to be some bad times. There's going to be some that, either or,
Yes, sir.
But you got to weigh, your battles.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. What advice would you give to future fathers?
Future fathers?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Love your children, man. That's the extension of you that Allah blessed you to have. Do everything you can to help them, but not spoil them. You
Yes, sir.
know, I mean, you want to give them the best foundation grounded in Islam that you can give them. But at some point, you got to let them go to find their own way.
Yes, sir.
And the
Yes,
only
sir.
thing you can do is pray that that foundation, they hold on to it, because some are going to get lost, but that doesn't mean they can't find their way back,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you know. And as a parent, you just have to be there for them. That's all. Just be there for them.
Beautiful.
Unconditional love, bro.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Brother Dennis, what do you do for fun now besides gardening?
Oh, bro, I still, I'm not as fast as I used to be running, but I still run.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
I still walk. That 5 miles is a lot slower than it used to be, but it takes brother a little longer now.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I still, try to stay as active as I can, brother Josh. I like to fish.
Praise be to
I
Allah.
like the outdoors, right? To be honest with you.
Okay. Yes, sir. So what about music? What type of music do you like to listen to?
Oh, brother, I like all genre of music, man. From listening to the minister playing the violin, classical,
Yes, sir.
R&B, reggae, jazz.
Mm.
If it moves me, I listen to it. Country, western. If it moves me, if it grabs me, I'll listen to it, right?
Okay. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Will you ever write a book on your personal life, Brother Dennis?
I've been giving it some thought, brother. I really haven't come to that. I'm going to let Allah guide me on that one, brother. But I reflect about a lot of things that, we've did. I remember one incident, and I won't call it an incident, but one adventure when we took the brothers first up to camp, the first time from Muhammad University, brother.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And when we got up in the morning, Allah gave us a glimpse of what our nation really could look like. Every morning at camp that week, we raised our own national, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We said the pledge to our own national, brother.
Yes, sir.
We prayed to our own national there at the campsite. This was a YMCA camp that we took over. We had the whole camp to ourselves, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the first year we just took the brothers. The second year we took the brothers 1 week and then took the sisters a week. But we had the trailblazer with the brothers first to see how that environment was, because we were up in Michigan.
Yes, sir. I remember.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But, getting up in the morning, brother, having prayer and raising our own flag, it was no better feeling, brother.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Excellent. Well, Brother Dennis, what would you like your legacy to be?
That of being a brother. Yes, sir. Like I said earlier, you get in where you fit in, brother. I never been after titles or anything like that, brother. I just want to be remembered as an individual that helped the minister. That's all. Just a brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Well, I want to thank you, Brother Dennis, again for coming on. I want to thank everybody for watching and showing you love. You don't know how much your discipline has helped impacted many of the young sisters, young men, everybody who's at MUI. But your love, Brother Dennis, I didn't understand fully because I don't like getting beat. But when I got older, I appreciate you because you showed me love when you didn't have a paddle in your hand. You were always showing me love until today. You always just been nice. I just like, man, thank you, Brother Dennis, for showing love to us and protecting us and the nation, just being a good brother.
Well, brother, it wasn't about the paddling. When we opened the school, you got to remember, when we opened in 90, most of our children was coming out of the public school system, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it was buck wild.
Yes,
mine included.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mine included, brother. So, we had to have that structured discipline, brother, to demonstrate love and respect.
Yes, sir.
It's not a brother there that we paddled out of malice. My sons got it just like anybody else's when they was out of line, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got to have that balance, because the minister always says, if there's no justice, people go insane.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you got to have that balance. If you're gonna do discipline, you got to do it with love, man. And then after the discipline, let them know I still love you.
Yes, I remember you saying that, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All praises due to Allah.
Well, praise be to Allah. Was so many people showing you love in the comments, say they thank you. You always been a humble brother, been great. Beautiful sister dealers thanking you and showing you love, Sister Branda. So many people. I can't wait to put this on YouTube. And I want to just thank you, Brother Dennis, let you know I love you and your family. And I look forward to seeing you in person, inshallah, soon.
Yes, sir.
Soon we work it out.
Yes, sir, we will, my brother. And give the family the greetings for me.
Yes, sir. You do the same, please. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.